In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what big wave surfers do when they get caught inside. This applies to any wave size, and if you lack confidence in the ocean, this is going to help you a ton, especially if you really want to start catching better waves. Now, you're going to learn two main things here. Number one is about decision making. Number two is about the actual technique when it comes to paddling and breath holding. And if this is your first time to this channel, all we do here is help surfers catch more waves, catch better waves. The best way for you to support us in that is to hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into the breakdown. All right, so we're all gonna get caught inside. It's not a matter of if, it's when and how often you get caught inside. So when that moment happens, you're gonna have some choices to make. So just to this mark here, it's gonna be a star. That's when you're caught inside. You're gonna have two decisions you can make. One, you can decide that you can make it out past the break and go for it and sprint. Or number two, you can accept that you're getting caught inside and you can begin the slowing your body down process to prepare yourself for a breath hold. Thing with number one is it's going to split off into two other choices or just outcomes. You're either going to make it, and that's the best case scenario, or you don't make it and then you're spent and you're in a little bit more of a difficult position here. So what we're going to cover in this video is breakdowns of how two pro big wave surfers do each of these things. So first one's number one. We're going to break down what happens when you sprint and you don't make it. Or yeah, this one, don't make it. When you make it, that doesn't matter because that's best case scenario. It's easy. You don't have to learn that. But this is what happens when you don't make it, when you sprint, and then what you do when you just accept the fact that you're caught inside and how you do the slowing down process to prepare for your breath hold. And that's it. All right, here we go with path number one. Thinking you can make it and deciding to sprint. Our surfer here is Jame Sterling, and we'll watch. He's made the move. So getting here, stop it there. You see arrow number one, there's a wave they've already gone through and just gotten over. Number two, look at his face. He's heavy breathing, he's already tired, and he's looking out to the horizon. He sees another wave and he decides he's gonna go for it. When you look at number three, that's Mark Healy behind him. We're gonna break down what he does next, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. So here we go with Jame Sterling going for the sprint. You'll notice he picks up his paddling tempo here. He'll pause it right here. You'll notice if you look at the black arrow, how far he's reaching and how far back he's stroking. So that's a full stroke. He's twisting his spine, using a ton of muscle, and he's looking up and his gaze is on the wave. He's not sure if he's gonna make it, so he's spending all of energy taking a gamble. I'll let it play here, and just to contrast his other stroke, you look how much he's twisting. Now he's leaning to the other side of his board, using a ton of that core strength and really sprinting with a high tempo and heavy mouth breathing. So he's spending all his energy. Very intense. So we'll stop it here. And what I want to point out here is you look at him looking up at the wave. There's obvious stress on his face. He's heavy mouth breathing. And the part about the stressed face is that increases adrenaline, increases heart rate, and he's spending a ton of energy. He's heavy mouth breathing, so he's tired. He really made a hard burst there. And I'll move it forward one frame here, and you'll see he only takes one more stroke before he decides to ditch. So one quick stroke, boom. And you'll notice, because he's basically under the wave, he doesn't have much time to get underwater, so he pushes away from his board. He's not pushing up a ton as much as he could. He's just getting away from his board. We'll let it play a little bit farther. And he pushes away one more time, so he pushes away from his board. So the last bit of energy he uses is just two pushes away. So that's preventing him from getting deep. So we'll just break down exactly the cascade of events that happen there. So first he made the decision to go for it. So he sprints, spends tons of energy. Heavy mouth breathing, again the stress on his face, which increases adrenaline and heart rate even more, and he's heavy breathing, so he's losing oxygen, and then the rapid movement. What I mean by that is he paddles right to the very last second. So to get off his board and get underwater, he has to move quick, and he has to really has a short amount of time to do it. So he uses a lot of energy there, but also he doesn't get as deep because of it. So what I want to say here is, I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong or bad. This guy is a big wave surfer and he knows his body. He's one of the best athletes on earth. And so he just took a gamble. And I point this out because if you're just a mere mortal like I am, making these gambles and getting them wrong have a lot higher consequences than it does for him, even though he's surfing a bigger wave. So that's the thing I want to point out here. So I'm not saying he made a wrong decision. He made the choice, and these are the consequences of it. And so we'll let it play forward a little bit longer. And so you'll see where he went under there. That's right where the wave is about to break. So he didn't have much time to get under. He paddled right till the last second. And so he's going over, and there's Mark Healy right there. And you can notice where Mark is sitting. He's right in the path of the wave, and there's no way he's gonna get past it. So his reaction is gonna be completely opposite. And so we'll break that down right here as we watch Jame's board go over the falls. All right, so with Mark, much different. So we'll stop it right here. You'll notice that his wingspan is a little bit wider. He's not reaching completely as far, doesn't have a lot of twist in the spine. And his paddle stroke tempo is really, really slow. So he's barely paddling at all. He's already accepted he's getting caught inside, so he's not wasting any energy at all. And we'll stop it right there. And you notice he's looking at the wave. So he's not deciding whether or not he can make it or not. He knows he's caught inside. So all he's doing is timing his breath hold. So everything about here, he's not expending energy. He's slowing down his body. He's slowing down his mind. He's slowing down his breath. All that stuff is just preparing for the breath hold. Completely opposite path. And we look right here. So you see he's at full extension because he waited for it. He was sitting on his board with his hands on deck, waiting for that moment to launch himself up in the air so he can get full extension, so we can get deeper under the wave. You see he gets good penetration there. And so it's completely opposite, right? The calm face is important because that is controlling your mind, controlling your body, and then it lowers your heart rate. And slow, deliberate movements. Because he stopped paddling way before the wave got there, he was able to be slow and deliberate with his extension and his penetration because he had more time to do it. So that expends less energy, gets you deeper underwater. And also he was able to time it better because he didn't paddle till the last second. He was able to get underwater before the wave got there, at the toe of the wave rather than on the face of the wave. Again, I do want to point out that it's not right or wrong what you do. It's just these are the consequences of each path that you can take. And then so we'll let it play a little bit farther. And you'll see there's Jame's board going over the falls, and Mark's board is about to go over the falls as well. So they're both going for the same ride on the same wave, but they're having two completely different experiences based on the decision that they made. And that's what I want to point out to you is good decision making. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, about how to paddle and how to breathe in these situations. All right, so what should you do if you decide to go for it? Now, it's my personal philosophy that you should never sprint, and I actually teach people to do a hybrid in between. So this sprinting here, this is what we saw in the first video. So the way he was breathing was deep into the mouth. His stroke was a full reach, and the tempo was fast as possible. That's a sprint. So we don't ever want to do that, because that's, if you don't make it, puts you in a really bad spot because you blow out all your oxygen, all your energy, and then be forced to do multiple breath holds in a really, really bad spot. This one here is for when you decide you're not going to go at all. That's not what we're going to talk about here. But if you do decide to go for it, we're going to do what's a hybrid method, a cross between both these. So the most ideal way to breathe is nasal. Sometimes that's not possible. If you can, in through the nose and out through the mouth. So it's a cross between the both. And the stroke will be full, but the tempo changes. The tempo will be medium to slow. We'll say medium. And so instead of sprinting, this changes everything. So you do a full stroke, reach as far as you can, but do it at a medium pace. Try to do as much nasal breathing as possible. That way, if you don't make it, you're not at a huge deficit. You'll be able to have a much better breath hold. And that's as simple as it gets. So never sprint. The only time you should be doing a sprint is the 3 to 5 waves before you get into a wave. When you're in an emergency situation, you should never sprint because that puts you in a very dangerous spot. And that's it. All right, and that's it for the breakdown. So the next best thing you can do is to begin your training. So I've got a free breath hold challenge. The link will be below in the description. It's gonna help you increase your stressed breath hold, your surf-specific breath hold. It's typical for people to double their stressed breath hold length within 7 days. So if you want that, the link is in the description. And if you like these kind of videos, again, the best way for you to support us so we can keep making these videos is to hit the like button and then hit that subscribe button. And that's it. Thanks a lot for watching.